afternoon. I'm Monisa Klein here at the GBTA broadcast studio, and joining me today is Eric Almond, who is the head of product for Travel Incorporated. Eric, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to see you again. We did this last year, and I'm glad to see you back.
Yes. Enjoyed it.
Good. As I'm hoping it's been a good convention for the Travel Incorporated team here in Atlanta, in your hometown.
I think so. Everybody was super excited.
Yes.
Seems a little light because of the event, but nevertheless, I think it's great.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of talk about artificial intelligence. That's the buzzword, right? And how it enhances the overall travel experience for business travelers.
Right.
So one of the hot topics of convention this year. Can you provide some examples of how AI implementation, give us some examples of how the implementation has successfully improved traveler satisfaction? So give us some examples of that.
So one of the things that we're focused on is really improving the workflow for travelers. So one of the things that comes to mind is subject to interpretation. So we've seen an increasing volume in email contacts that come in, right? And of those email contacts, more than 50% of those, I would say, really there's this ping pong match that happens between the agents and the travelers in terms of interpretation of those emails, right? So if you can imagine that happening on a global scale, and that misinterpretation, that's massive, right? So that's where I think AI shines. So what we've done is we've taken AI and introduced a new product line we call iRequest. And so iRequest travels specifically in just emails. It uses AI to process them, and the outcome of that is a new shopping experience that we've delivered to the travelers. And what's happened is the AI has aggregated hundreds of recommendations that it serves up to the travelers based on company policy, based on their personalized preferences. And in addition to that, they get to shop and they see seat maps, hotel photos, all the things that you would expect from that level of a booking tool, right? But the beauty of iRequest and how it works is we allow the travelers to continue to email those in as they always have with those behavioral issues. We've removed the subjectivity using AI, and we've given them a great shopping experience. And so that's really improved that process and that back and forth match that we see.
I like to think of AI as it's just going to continue to make life easier for people, right? Right? Smoother and easier and improve life.
Right, I think so, absolutely.
Good. What strategies would you employ to manage and streamline bookings for unprofiled travelers, ensuring their travel arrangements are as efficient and personalized as those of profiled travelers? So unprofiled versus the profile.
Right. So we've had an ongoing initiative, for a couple years now to really bring unprofiled travelers in parity with profile travelers to make sure that experience is the same. And quite frankly, it's a mess. But we partnered with Amgen and we looked at all the various workflows. So we've looked at what the arranger does, what the agent does, as well as the traveler and the technology behind that. So as a part of that process, we ended up with a different product, iRequest Authorize. And really what it does is it allows the travel arranger to create a authorization request with all the travel parameters around it. They can also import those in bulk for large groups. So the two strategies that we came up with is agent assisted and AI assisted. So when those requests are completed and routed, they can route it to the agent route, which basically says it targets a pool of agents, and as the traveler calls in, they can complete the booking based on the parameters that came from the travel arranger. On the other hand, if they take the AI route, it triggers that same iRequest travel experience that we saw before. So those travelers get to go on that same shopping journey, a self-serve, and they get to select their processes. So one of the profound features of this is the arranger gets to have full transparency into the whole process. So as the agent, they make contact with the agent, they know it. When they start shopping, they know it. The outcome of that, you hope, is the booked trip. So they get exposure to the itinerary, so they can see the full trip. They get the invoice for expenses, and then they know if the flight departed or not. So we've really brought in those processes of aligning the unprofiled traveler with the profile, because it doesn't matter which one you are, right? Yeah. And we've streamlined the process for the arranger, start to finish. So they get to control the entire process.
A win-win for all.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. In what ways can digital engagement be utilized to keep travelers informed and engaged throughout their journey? And what tools or platforms do you consider most effective for this purpose?
Okay. So in this case, what we look at, I would say with digital engagement, you've kind of got to understand the phases of travel. So, from my point of view, you've got the booking phase, which is what we kind of talked about, how they book offline, online, the itinerary, the approvals, quotes, all the things that go into that, right? Then you've got the pre-trip phase, which is I've made my purchase and now anything can go wrong, right? Schedule changes with the airlines, releases from Microsoft, whatever the case may be, disrupting the trip, right? That triggers exchanges. And then the last one is the travel process. You're off and running. Well, are you? Did you go? And where are you through that process?
Yeah.
So all of those interact with different user personas, whether you're the traveler, you may be the travel manager, HR may have to be involved in tech. So we introduced a product we called EVA, Everything Virtually Anywhere. And it's a digital engagement platform where all channels are equally as important based on who you are and what you need. So the way that works is it supports frameworks like push notifications, email, text messaging, chat bots, as well as API. So the way this works is traveler gets an itinerary, they get to decide when they want it, where they want it. It sends an interactive card that they get to interface with that. If it's a schedule change, they get an interactive card that shows the schedule change and how to interact with it. Another example is IT. If it's a high-risk country that the traveler is going to, in some cases, we've got companies that have to scrub laptops and give them a fresh, clean laptop. So how do you engage IT in that process from a booking perspective? So EVA sends an API call to the corporation. It triggers an internal ticket. They now know that John Smith, as an example, is traveling to a high-risk country. They build the laptop. So EVA is responsible, for delivering information when you need it, how you need it, and where you need it. And it satisfies that digital communication path at all levels, and it doesn't really matter what the channel is.
Wow.
So there's a lot there.
That's a lot. There is a lot there. You are busy, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, Eric. Well, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me and sharing what's going on at Travel
Right.
Incorporated. And congratulations on 27 years.
Oh, thank you.
That
Thank
says
you.
a lot about the company,
It's been a
too.
ride. But
Yes.
thanks for having us.
So thank you,
Yep.
as always.
Okay, great.
Good to
Thank you.
see you. I'm Monisa Klein here at the GBTA Broadcast Studio.